This case was never meant to be released. Case File 001 involves a motion camera installed in a vacant apartment hallway. The building had been empty for 6 months, yet the camera triggered every night at 2:17 a.m. At first, nothing appeared on the footage. But after reviewing it frame by frame, we noticed the shadows were shifting against the light source. On the 7th night, the shadow stopped moving, and then it turned toward the camera. This is where the footage ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 002 documents a drawing recovered from an abandoned classroom. The classroom had been closed for over a year when the drawing was discovered. The image shows a family standing outside a house. Each time the drawing was scanned, the figures appeared closer to the viewer. No edits or alterations were detected between scans. On the final scan, one figure was no longer present on the page. This is where the evidence stops. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 003 involves CCTV footage recovered from a rural bus stop. The camera recorded continuously between midnight and sunrise. For over 3 hours, a single figure stood beneath the streetlight. The figure never moved. When the footage was enhanced, it became clear the figure was facing away from the road. At 4:41 a.m., the bus arrived. The figure was gone, but its reflection remained on the glass. This is where the footage ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 004 contains an audio recording captured during a sleep study. The subject was alone in the room for the entire duration. At 3:12 a.m., a second breathing pattern appears. It does not match the subject's rhythm. When the subject wakes, the second breathing stops instantly. No one else was present. This is where the recording ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 005 documents a perception test involving a standard household mirror. Participants were instructed to stare into the mirror for 10 minutes. Most reported minor visual distortion. One participant reported the reflection blinking out of sync. The footage confirms this. The reflection blinked first. This is where the test was terminated. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 006 involves surveillance footage from an emergency stairwell in a closed hospital wing. The area had been sealed for renovation and showed no recorded activity. At 2:09 a.m., the stairwell lights activated without motion being detected. Frame-by-frame analysis revealed wet footprints appearing one step at a time. The prints stopped directly in front of the camera. No exit footage exists. This is where the recording ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 007 involves a mobile phone recovered during a missing person investigation. The phone was inactive at the time it was found. Despite this, the call log shows repeated outgoing calls. All calls were placed after the owner disappeared. Each call was made to the same number. The number belongs to the missing person. This is where the data ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 008 documents security footage from an elevator in a closed office building. The building had been vacant for several months. Despite this, the elevator continued to activate throughout the night. The doors opened on multiple floors with no recorded passengers. On the fourth stop, a hand appeared between the doors. There was no body attached. This is where the footage ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 009 involves a radio transmission received with no identifiable source. The signal appeared briefly each night at the same frequency. It repeated a sequence of coordinates that did not exist. When the coordinates were mapped manually, they formed a floor plan. The layout matched the investigator's residence. The transmission stopped immediately after. This is where the signal ends. This case was never meant to be released. Case File 010 contains a single recovered video frame. The original footage was corrupted beyond repair. Only one frame remained intact. When brightness and contrast were adjusted, a human silhouette became visible. The silhouette matched the investigator who recovered the file. No further frames exist. This is where the archive ends.